So that's going to wrap it up for this week. Kind of just in closing, let's talk about a few things that we saw, especially with the Cruiserweight Show.
Yeah.
One thing I got to say, Morrow is the best commentator in the WWE right now.
Yeah, hands down, the best. He's
and
had a lot of experience, more so, I think, even than like Michael Cole, who's been doing it for longer than him. I think he's had more experience.
Because Michael Cole was always trying to tell a story.
Or sell something.
Yeah, or mostly sell something.
Yeah.
And he never wants to just talk about the freaking matches in front of him. That's something I miss a lot about the good old Jim Ross days.
Yeah,
JR could do both.
Yeah.
He would sell you something, but it would make sense to what they're talking about in the match.
He would call the match for sure, first and foremost.
Right. That was the most important thing. On the other hand, Daniel Bryan is terrible at commentary.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan hasn't commentated before, to my knowledge. I mean, he may have.
Maybe during a match when he was wrestling, here and there.
In a gym somewhere. But yeah, in a big
No,
scale,
I'm saying on WWE, like when...
like he would come out and talk when someone else was wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as a main color commentator, not the greatest.
He's never been the greatest on the mic. Don't get me wrong. Daniel Bryan will always have a special plate. Nerd buffet
special plate on our table.
Right. He'll have a special plate on our table. There we go. That's perfect. Not in our heart, just on our table. Let's kind of switch gears. What were the best spots of the week? What were the best things you saw in wrestling this week?
I think my favorite was the code breaker from the top rope.
Yeah, that was pretty darn cool.
From Sean Maluda to Kobe Abusha. What's his name?
Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi.
Yes.
I apologize to all of our Japan people.
Kota Ibushi is the best of the Japan people, I've got to say. My favorite spot of the week was the Rollins report going into the Ambrose promo thing, and then that leading there into Monday Night Raw. I guess we didn't really talk too much about it, but going into next Monday Night Raw is going to be huge because there's a
world heavyweight title. Well, WWE.
Yeah, now WWE title match.
WWE title match. There hasn't been any talk about a second title yet at all.
No, not at all.
So,
but still, absolutely everything like we talked about, not on this week's, but the last week's Nerd Buffet, absolutely everything has referred and gone out of its way to say WWE. And it kind of bothered me because when they talked about Daniel Bryan today, they said, 4-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I'm like, no, what? When are we going to say this and when are we not?
Yeah.
We used to have this problem and then it was gone because we fixed the title and now it's back again. I don't know. Maybe better for another day. We can complain about it more.
In a week's time, we'll figure it out. We'll know for sure.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that brings us to next week. Sunday will be the episode 4 of the Nerd Buffet podcast. We're wanting to add a little bit more since we're taking out the wrestling aspect of it as much as possible and adding it to this show. I thought at least we could add a Q&A section. Do you got anybody that's going to respond to this with some good questions?
I would hope so. If anyone has any questions you want to ask of us or even topics you want us to talk about on the show, go ahead and let us know. Type it in the comments or text me. I mean, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Text one of us.
Text either of us. No subject is taboo.
We're trying to keep it PG-13 as
right.
If
your eyes got real big. I didn't mean for it to sound like that, but
we're trying to keep it PG-13, right? So I mean, if there are any topics that really need talked about, we could have that special After Dark episode we were talking about.
Right on. As for the rest of this week, before the Nerd Buffet podcast on Sunday, we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters on Sunday because we're going to see the movies
Yes.
tomorrow during the premiere.
Yeah, tomorrow night we're seeing Ghostbusters.
If anybody wants to come see it with us and enjoy that with us, we'll be in Centerville watching it at 7 o'clock. It's the big premiere of Ghostbusters. Guess what? I have not read a single review, but it is getting good reviews. Really surprising to me. Surprising to you?
Not really.
Yeah?
I haven't read anything about it. Just
Okay.
going in blind.
Like I said, I haven't read anything. I constantly am looking at my Flickster app. That's they're partners, I think, with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So you see a percentage by things. I think right now, as of this afternoon during break at work, it was at 75, which 60 or 70 is fresh. But, next week we'll have also the wrestling shows. We'll have a full buffet, all you can eat, next week of wrestling. We'll have Raw with the title match. We'll have the first SmackDown
With the draft. Even.
with the draft. Yeah, that's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone else is most excited for. Then we'll have NXT on Wednesday night to talk about, and maybe something that'll excite you a little bit more, since we heard that that's what you love so much. Is we have episode 2 of the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really excited about it. 10 weeks of Cruiserweight.
So this is there any splits or anything, or is it?
I think it's just 10 solid weeks.
This is week 1, and we got 9 more. Holy cow! So this should be a good, fun little adventure. And what do you think they're gonna do at the end of this? I guess now would be the best time to talk about it and kind of speculate.
My hope is for the winner of the tournament gets a title belt, gets a Cruiserweight title belt.
Well, of course, yeah.
And then they reintroduce
Hornswoggle, because he's gonna give him the belt. That's what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I know. I hope they reintroduce the Cruiserweight division to SmackDown. You know.
Okay.
Is there any talk about them extending that show to 3 hours, or is it 2?
I haven't heard anything about that. I've just heard, like Vince said, flagship show is Raw, and then you've got SmackDown too. So it sounds like Raw's 3 hours, SmackDown's 2, which I don't know.
I'd like to see him add another hour maybe for Cruiserweights.
Kind of like WCW?
Yeah, exactly like WCW. Is what
That'd be cool.
So have your Cruiserweight division on one show. Doesn't matter which, really. But
Yeah.
that's what I'd like to see happen. I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen or not. But there's a lot of talent from what I've seen just today with 8 wrestlers.
What are they going to do with all these guys? Because so far, everyone that I've seen wrestle deserves some sort of spot, be it on NXT or at... I wouldn't say any of them were jobbers at all.
No.
But I mean,
you're
at
absolutely
least...
right. And a bunch of them are on NXT now,
Okay.
or in developmental.
Oh, well.
So I know they have a match. I think they said next week with a tag team. I'm not real familiar with because I'm not watching NXT as much as I should.
Yeah.
But they're a tag team on NXT, and they're actually facing each other in the first round.
I guess
So-
thinking about it, having, instead of just the same guys fighting on every show like they have been, splitting up the brands really does clear up quite a few spots.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get the. I will almost say, and it's hard to compare because we haven't seen it yet, but we got to see when we were kids. We got to see WWF versus WCW, and that
Yeah.
was the best.
Competition
Now that-
breeds
Excellent.
a better product.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And now that we're getting to see, and it looks like it's going to be SmackDown versus Raw again, and then you bring in this whole mess into it, which it's not any sort of mess. I guess mess might be a bad word, but you bring these people into it. This is going to be excellent.
Yeah, especially with the draft. I don't think they're drafting any of these guys because it's happening right in the middle of the air times.
Of course not.
But I do think with the draft, NXT's going to be almost wiped clean. They have a lot of talent on NXT that deserves to be on one of the main shows. And I think with the draft coming up, they are going to draft a lot of those people up. Your Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, American Alpha, Bailey,
yeah.
Alexa Bliss. So these may or may not be drafted, but I think more than likely.
Ooh, that brings something up really off topic, but you just said Bailey's name. What if we get a 4 horsewomen fatal 4-way at SummerSlam?
That would be awesome.
That would be absolutely awesome. Oh my God! Let's call WWE right now and book that.
I'm sure they're watching.
Okay, yeah, they are live watching.
I'm sure they're watching, and they're just waiting with our finger over the cease and desist button for us to do something.
Yeah, we did actually. For those following us this early, on last week's not this week's episode, but last week's episode, the last part actually got cut off of YouTube because we used this might be part of Tom Benson's conspiracy hour, but we used the Ghostbusters song, the original Ghostbusters song.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, that song was stolen in the first place.
Yeah, it was stolen from Huey Lewis.
So, I want to, I'd like to talk to, who is it who owned the Ghostbusters song?
Ray Parker.
Ray Parker, yeah. Ray Parker, give me a call. We gotta have a chat about this. I think Huey Lewis would be on my side with this whole instance.
We used a whole 20 seconds of the Ghostbusters
right,
song.
and you used the whole song of Huey Lewis's. So getting back onto topic, I think that's going to close out the show. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, good show.
It's a good show. It's a good show tonight we had. So, anything else?
I think that's it. So, on behalf of Nerd Buffet, this has been Drive-Thru Wrestling. Namaste.